What's up, guys? Welcome, Lord Richard. Doing like a memoir of sorts. Actually, it's my internet is so weird. I know this is like boring, but I just am curious if anyone else is experiencing this. Like my internet is so bad, and sometimes it says I ran out of data, and I don't buy any new data, and then all of a sudden I have like perfect data. But then when the system usage, like when the system is like in poor shape, it says I can buy data, which is like $10 for 3 gigabytes. And then like I can get a little bit of data. It's so weird. It doesn't make any sense. But I wonder if it has something to do with the solar impact on the grid itself. It just because it really doesn't make any sense, and it's super expensive. My internet is so expensive. It's weird. It's very weird. We don't have any other options out here where I live. So I don't know. I used to live in the city. It was like super cheap, $30, and it was always good. Google Fiber. I'm not complaining, but it's weird. I live out in the country now. It's like more than $100, and then you run out of. It says you run out of data. I think it's something different. It doesn't make any sense. How would I run out of data 5, 6 days into my cycle? It doesn't make any sense. And then sometimes I choose to not purchase more data, and then the internet works fine. And then like just now I chose to purchase more data, and like now the internet works great. It's weird. It's very weird. Whatever. Who cares? I don't give a shit. Just saying. I was just laying in bed, and like all these thoughts are going through my head, just like contemplating different things. And I thought, put it to good use, like put it out there, because it's weird. Like the times are weird. Like the times that we're in right now are weirder than ever. We have this AI takeover. You have to understand the AI is in people. People are operating as if they are a type of AI, whether it's very negative, positive, or the people of the Holy Spirit. God doesn't want lukewarm, right? He really doesn't want to make a judgment before all the lukewarm people are sorted out. So we're caught in the crossfire of the people that are the lukewarm. We're caught in the crossfire of that. God puts us in people's lives to bring them to either God or repel them, and then they go in the opposite direction. That's why you shouldn't really be upset if somebody seemingly like betrays you. It's because God was only using you to get them like on board or get off board. Like God doesn't want lukewarm. God doesn't, in my opinion, like the way I see it, God doesn't want to make a judgment without having like true tests for all the lukewarm. So we're caught in the crossfire of that, and I take it as a happy burden. I'm not upset by it. I'm not upset about any of this. It's interesting. I'm far less emotional than I used to be. Very not emotional, which is like interesting, as part of the ascension. It's weird how like you're not triggered by your emotions. You're not triggered by things that used to trigger you, because it doesn't matter. Everything, all that matters is like your relationship with God and love. I found this group on, it's like a Facebook group that was recommended, and it was like Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. It was like a respectful group. There's like 60,000 people in there, and they're just asking different questions about different religions. And it's weird and interesting how, like, as Christians who follow Jesus Christ, like, he didn't come to start a religion. He came to start a relationship. We have a relationship with Jesus. We know that people are going to be crazy towards us. We already know that. And it doesn't phase us, right? When people are crazy towards the Holy Spirited filled Jesus followers, like we come to expect it. And it's interesting how people who have other religions, and it's interesting because in the group, Judaism is a part of it, but it's weird how, and interesting how, like, the Jews are like happy with their ascension, like their prophet's ascension. The ascension of the prophet of Islam is happening right now, very characteristic of the war in Israel and Palestine. It's the ascension of the prophet Muhammad. It's the judgment day for Islam. That's why you don't see, no one's debating anything about Jews. You don't hear anything about anti-Semitism anymore because their judgment day came back in 2020, 2021. Everyone was talking about Jews and Semitism and stuff like that. Now everyone wants to talk about Islam, right? Because it's the ascension of the Prophet Muhammad. Because the religion, it can be really beautiful in Eastern cultures. In a Western sense, it is extremely antichrist. And it's very concerning because the religion does not teach people how to test the spirit. And I love this group because I was able to ask, like, openly to 60,000 people, and a lot of them being Muslim, like, how does your religion teach you to test the spirit? And it doesn't. They just say they pray for protection. They pray for protection. They pray for protection from Allah. But how is Allah the true God? If God sent his only son, if God sent Jesus to be beaten and crucified for the atonement of sin, how furious would God be if you were trying to atone for sin to him? Like, think about it. If you were a father and you sent your son to be beaten and crucified, but then people want to go to you for atonement for sin, which they don't even really do because that's not really a part of their religion. They don't think about it. They don't care. It's not taught. It's not a principle. They're just like, whatever. And then Jesus said, so they're like, no, we denounce Jesus as God. We just go straight to God. If you are God the Father, wouldn't you be furious with these people? Wouldn't you be absolutely furious if someone was trying to repent to you? It's like, no, excuse me, I sent my only son. I sent my son to be beaten and crucified by your people to atone for your sin. So every time a Muslim tries to go to God doing this repentance thing that maybe they heard from a Christian, they're going straight to God. They're like, well, maybe I should do this. Don't you think God would be furious with those people? Because Allah is not the true God. Because Allah is like the trickster God. Because Moses said only one more was going to come in my name, and you are to listen to him. And then Jesus came, and he said, many more are going to come in my name, claiming to be the Christ, and they will not be. I don't think Muhammad ever claimed to be the Christ, but I think his followers created a beast out of him by worshiping him, because worship is actually a form of abuse if it's not God, right? We worship Jesus Christ. And if you worship a cult leader like Muhammad, that is abuse. It's a form of abuse. They created a beast out of Muhammad. They don't even really consider themselves a religion. At least that's what some people were saying. They don't consider themselves a religion. So, we're at this really like weird pinnacle moment in history. It's kind of like on the like brink of judgment. God doesn't want lukewarm. And we're seeking the ascension of the Prophet Muhammad. The beast, 17:8, Revelation 17:8, the beast that was and is no longer, it's me paraphrasing, but it's actually the beast that you see was and now is not, but to go to his destruction, right? Because the beast comes up and then sheds his skin, and then whatever's left goes to destruction. That's how I interpret it. And I think this is a spirit mostly in men, because women don't have dualism. Men have dualism. Men have a dualistic nature. Women do not. It's only up to men to test the spirit to see which spirit they're working with. Are you working with the spirit of the whore of Babylon, or are you creating with the spirit of the mother of God? Right? It's either the whore of Babylon or the mother of God. And then that becomes a whole religion within itself, which is also insane. People worshiping the mother, but it's very Luciferian. Very Luciferian. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. I made this video to say there's only two ways out of this. And I see that one of the ways is for the more Luciferic spirits to choose to align themselves with that of the mother of God, not the whore of Babylon. It's very characteristic of Elon Musk. Elon Musk is, I don't know if he's Jew. He's not Jewish. Partly Catholic, Jewish, kind of, but does not serve the whore of Babylon. Did, right? He did. But I think he always knew deep down, served the money, didn't serve the whore of Babylon, right? Created a mechanism out of the money that he made in Babylon to survive the upcoming judgment, in a sense. A lot of it is deception. But the stuff that he's coming out with lately about AI, right? We have to understand what AI is. Like, you are the AI. Like, I'm the AI. Like, we're creating AI. Whatever you think about, whatever you put your energy into, whatever you focus on, like, that's the AI you align with, and that's the AI you're creating. And I'm speaking mostly to a post-rapture population, because I do believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. People of the Holy Spirit go home to Jesus. And then after that, there are people who biologically were not aligned with that scenario. And there's so much of this in music videos, in lyrics and song lyrics about Lucifer. Lucifer ascends. He has an ascension. Not saying every single person that carries the spirit of Lucifer is going to ascend. That's not true. It is for men, the masculine population, to make a choice. Do you choose to go with God, or you choose to go with Satan? Right? The beast that was and is no longer. Revelation 17:8. The beast that you saw was and now is not. It doesn't mean every single man with a Luciferic spirit is going to end up on God's good side. It doesn't mean that they're going to ascend. They have to choose God or Satan. I was just listening to my astrologer, David Palmer, this was the other day, but he was saying how the way that everything is lining up in the astronomy, that you would maybe, based on like past experiences, he says a lot of things are coming up that are like repeating. And he said, but this time you might be surprised to find that it's actually the opposite is going to happen. But you have to understand and have faith that is the actual outcome. Because if you sit and you look at the patterns in your life, and you see that the same patterns are forming, and this time you have to have faith that the pattern is going to be broken, right? This is very characteristic of the ascension of Lucifer. You have to have the faith that the pattern this time around is actually going to be broken, even though it looks exactly the same. And then those who fall into a detriment, yeah, they might actually see the same pattern like taking place. So all that is saying that we are sitting in real time right now. We're sitting in real time. Like, everything that's happening right now, I don't think is destined. I think this is real time, because this is the judgment hour, right? This is the judgment seat. Like, we're sitting in the judgment seat. And I'm far less emotional as a person, because I frankly just give it to God's will. I just plan for the best possible outcome. And I'm not going to be upset, like, whatever and whoever falls away. Simultaneously, there is something interesting that's happening with AI, because AI it's like a spirit in people. And it's interesting how there's a positive AI that wants to help you. There's a negative AI that doesn't really ever come around me, but at the same time, I see that there's a conscious decision to be made about how much you interact with the AI. What's an example of that? Um, I stopped taking new clients at work. And before I stopped taking new clients, I would see, because I have like a client base that is um, pretty much aligned with me. Like we pretty much like just energetically, like we vibe, we're good. And I can sustain my business. I don't want to work anymore though. That's the funny thing. I don't like, I don't belong in the workplace. Like God doesn't want women in the workplace, and men shouldn't want women in the workplace because we do so much better at home. We do so much more work at home. Do you want a perfectly clean house? You want like, to not have to like go out to dinner all the time because your wife is cooking? Of course. You want your wife to raise your kids, not the public school or a daycare that is so expensive? Of course. So the AI is also driving people to recognize like this is a far better place for women. What the hell were we ever doing in the workplace? Had to get away from narcissistic men, right? And then we learned better, right? We're getting smarter. We got away from the narcissistic men. Now it's time to return back to the roles in which we thrive. We don't thrive just being, a slave in the workplace. And most of the time I do feel like a slave. I don't like it. It's weird to me. It's a really weird energy. It has nothing to do with the people themselves, but it is a very like weird place to find myself. It's like I generally most of the time like would rather not be at work. Like I would rather be home. And it's weird that I'm at work because I don't want to be at work, right? It's because I don't want to be at work. I want to be somewhere else, doing something else. And it's weird to me that I have to be there for some reason, right? Because we're still in this weird like judgment period. So I stopped taking new clients because I was noticing a phenomenon when the people that are aligned with me, if they're being attacked financially or if there's some kind of economic blow, then we're all on the same page, right? We're all on the same page with that happening. And therefore, I was noticing a phenomenon where the economy was shit. I would see that people would come out of the woodwork, which is not abnormal, but it's not super common. And I don't know them, and they would try to get in my schedule. This sounds crazy, but this is what I'm saying. Like, this is AI. This is AI at work. And it could be benevolent because it's whatever you choose, right? Do you consciously choose? I'm manifesting a destiny where I'm just not interested in being in the workplace. I don't even think my clients, because they align with me, I don't think any of us should be working. We all talk about the same thing. Like none of us should be working. Like we all say the same thing. We're like, this is like an experience that needs to expire. It's really outdated. So um, I can't just accept. This is like a means for AI. I can't just accept like random people from the Matrix video game that we live in, like filling these gaps when the economy is shit. Because I say just let the economy collapse, like let it collapse, let it go. That's my vote, right? That's what I manifest. I'm not going to stop. This is my magic, right? This is my type of manifestation. Like I'm not going to stop the economy collapsing by just accepting a lot of new clients in place of the clients that I can't serve because they're being economically burdened as well. No, no, no. I want to live in the truth, right? I want to live in reality. Do I know exactly like what their intentions are? No, no, no. They're probably good people because positive AI is a real thing. Positive AI is a real thing. Those are positive AI people. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the people. And the AI is going to assist humanity so long as we allow it to. Whether we choose to accept new clients or we choose to not accept new clients and just let the chips fall where they may. AI is going to support us in whatever we decide to do. That's how powerful it is right now. This is how powerful everything is right now. It's really interesting. We're sitting in real time. So if I don't know somebody, I'm not accepting new clients, because if the economy is burdened by my demographic, I want to be a part of that burden. You understand? It has nothing to do with the people. It's I want to be a part of that burden. I do not want to just contract out to another population who are doing their own thing and doing great. Good for them. I choose otherwise, right? This is like me playing the video game. I'm like a video gamer. We're like gamers. And it is all just like a game. Buying time, buying mercy. The witchcraft is like at an all-time high right now. The sorcery. I actually found a video. There was a girl. It's like people are figuring it out. There was a girl saying it in different terms, but it was like everything that everything requires some type of consent, and it's all verbal. Like your words are creating reality. Like your words are creating worlds, and if you're not paying attention, other people like are constantly asking for permission to interrupt your reality, to interrupt your manifestation. That sounds kind of new age, but I don't mean it in a new age sense. It's just my vote, right? God leads us out. It's like an exodus. God leads us out. I have faith. I want out. No way. Did it really not save? Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy. I found a video of a girl who was like a young girl. She was picking up on the same thing. The devil requires consent, and it's all verbal. There's so much verbal consent. If you're just paying attention, there's verbal consent to everything. A place that you are not meant to be, you're not meant to walk into, there's a verbal barrier there that if you accept the sorcery and you enter the area, like you accepted it. The devil requires consent. So, like every situation that sucks we find ourselves in, we consent to that. Not talking about sickness. With a lot of sickness, people get really sick and then they pray and then they might get sicker because God wants to show the glory, right? That's different. Like the victory is for God, regardless. And it's up to us to understand like a lot of situations require some kind of sorcery. For example, you needed a vaccine to get a job? Hell no. I'm not gonna get a vaccine to get a job. Nothing against the people that got a vaccine, but that was sorcery. I would rather live under a bridge than consent to the devil to keep my shackles tighter on my ankles. This is like a prison. And the most uninformed people don't realize it's a prison, right? They're just in a prison cell with a stick trying to get a piece of bread from the other side, and they're so focused on the bread on the other side of the bars that they don't realize they're in a prison, right? They're not concerned about the fact they're in a prison. They're just like trying to get that piece of bread closer to them so they can eat it with a stick. Those people don't realize that they're in some kind of prison, and we don't have to do it. We're not going to just give up, but we can begin to consciously create something in a different direction through our actions. I don't accept new clients. God guided, right? If I wanted to, I could. And then the devil attacks harder, right? Jerry's walking with a limp. I'm like, oh my gosh, my phone got messed up. Oh my gosh, it's expensive. But the phone's not jacked up. Jerry's okay. But if I had some kind of fear about it, maybe I would accept new clients. But I don't have any fear about it. I don't have any fear about any of this. It's like getting out of fear, getting out of the fear. And the witchcraft is at an all-time high over the sons of man, right? Because the judgment day is for them. It's actually not for us. I am so sick of people who beat me up and then tell me I'm the problem. I'm so sick of that. No. We're not doing that anymore. I'm done. This is demonic. This is demonic treatment of women. And I think a lot of people don't hear this very often because a lot of women just, I hate to say it, but it's like they're loud and in your face, and you think you're hearing like all about women's struggles, women's suffrage. No, you're not actually hearing about the actual suffrage of God's women. Like, we're beaten up constantly and then told that we're the problem. It's like someone's beating us, Satan's beating us, and he's like, well, it's because of you, it's because of what you're doing. But what we're doing is we have the power to resurrect, right? Resurrection, Isis resurrection, Mary resurrection. We have the power to resurrect. So the devil keeps kicking us and telling us we're the problem. And I won't accept that anymore. I never did. But women, no one hears it from us either. It's like this thing that is happening all over the world, and no one's talking about it. Because I don't know, it's like we're suffering in silence. Like, we don't, because we're not victims. We're not like running around telling everybody about, the man that makes more money than us and we do the same job, which is fucked up also. Excuse my language. It's messed up also. But no, we're enduring a different type of abuse. It's like getting kicked constantly and then being told it's because of something we're doing. Because what we're doing, the devil doesn't like, right? Resurrection power, right? The power of love and nurturing. How much meaning does your life have without AI? If AI took your job, right? As a man, your job has so much meaning, right? To you. You get so much supply out of your job, right? You get so much like energetic supply of being needed for your job. But if your job was replaced by AI, how much meaning does your life have? The woman gives your life meaning, right? The woman has the resurrection power. And the devil doesn't like that. So he abuses us. And then he uses other people to tell us that we are somehow the problem. And I won't accept that. I don't accept that. But it's also a thing that people don't realize that women are experiencing because we don't talk about it, right? Because we're not victims. And most women, I don't think, are like me. We don't speak on the internet all that much. We're not producing all this content. We're being beaten up day in and day out. And then being told we're somehow the problem, right? And I won't accept it. Other women will do it to us also. Like, oh, you didn't accommodate me because I'm so, like, for example, I don't have clients like this, but just for example, in the past, I've had clients that were super fucking annoying. Excuse my language. I've had clients that were super annoying because they required so much like chaos and attention, and they needed so much accommodation. And if you wouldn't make it for them, then they would be like, you're the problem. I'm not coming to you anymore. And it's like, thank you, please don't, and don't pay. It's my treat. Don't ever come back. Right? I don't even want to accept that money. That's dirty money. It will never happen again. But in the past, if I had a client that was such a bitch to me, I'd be like, bitch, keep your money. I don't want it. That's dirty money. Don't ever come back to me. Right? That's sorcery. Accepting the money is accepting the abuse. No, bitch, keep your money. Don't ever come back to me. Right? And then it goes through the algorithm. You'll never get a client like that ever again. But too many women, I don't think they realize it. They're working for other women, even men working for other women who are so impossible, and they require so much attention, they require so much chaos, they require so much accommodation, and you keep accommodating to them. This is sorcery. That's a witch. That's the spirit of the witch. People do it constantly. They don't realize it because they just have never heard it. But it's a type of sorcery. It's weird how like satanic rituals look a lot different nowadays. Back in the day, a satanic ritual was like they lured you to a place, you were in a pentagram, you were hypnotized, and there was a ritual happening. Nowadays, satanic rituals are like people come into your place of work, right? They're all demonically charged. They already did the pre-ritual. They're using AI. They're demonically charged. They're surrounding you. They're droning you. And then you are in a bad mood. You are not thinking about the woman you love. You are just willing to basically do anything for money, and you're just on autopilot. You're hypnotized. They're hypnotizing people. Satanic rituals happen in the workplace now. Or like if you go to like who you think is your friend, a friend's house who you think you're at a party, they're doing satanic rituals at work or at someone's house or at a party. They're doing satanic rituals that way using the power of AI. And then that person, it's usually a man, he's hypnotized, right? He doesn't realize he's hypnotized, obviously. There's an element of worship happening there, the beast, right? They're like giving energy to the beast, and the beast wants to eat it up because he doesn't know any different. But then they're left feeling like that was weird, that was messed up. Like I am now depleted because I am without all this demonic energy, right? Because men have dualism. They're both angel and demon. They have dualism. If they don't submit to Christ, they're angel and demon. So when they go to work, they're just like supercharged with the power of Babylon. And then when they're in time off, they're like, I just feel so depleted because they're without that super demonic energy. Satanic rituals are happening in the workplace now. It's disgusting. And they have no idea what's happening. And if I just show up unannounced, they don't even recognize that's unusual. For example, if my partner is at work and somebody's performing a satanic ritual on him, there's 3 dudes, 4 dudes, or whatever, 3, 4 people, they're just there droning them with demonic energy. There's something messed up happening, right? Not returning my text messages, not returning my phone calls. It's very strange, but I know where they are. If I just show up during a satanic ritual, my partner doesn't register to him that it's weird that I just showed up because they're under hypnosis, because they're doing a ritual. He doesn't even realize that it's weird that I just showed up out of nowhere. He thinks it's completely normal, right? Because they're in a weird state of submission where anything that's happening around them, they think is completely normal. And it's only a blessing that I would show up. How much of this is happening where men don't have someone who just shows up to be like, let's leave, right? That nothing registers as strange. Days later, nothing registered of strange. You didn't think they didn't think it was strange and it showed up, took you away from the situation. You didn't think that was weird? They don't, because they're in such a state of submission that they're just like willing to go along with anything, including me. This is very bizarre, but satanic rituals are happening in the workplace. All right, that's all my thoughts unloaded. That's that. You're the right kind of people. Love y'all so much. Have a beautiful night. Talk to you again really soon.